not precious about it.
I know.
Why do you think I'm so precious?
Because you just take over the podcast. Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I've already started. So
Okay.
I can't wait because it's going to start with you saying that I take over the podcast. Just where it's going to start.
That's amazing.
And then then that's the fake start. Then the music's
Yeah.
playing here. Blah, blah, blah. All right, everyone. Welcome to Term 3, 2025, the Redlands College Podcast. The official Redlands College Podcast, probably the only one. Be the
Difference. Alrighty, Mike. It's been a very busy term 3. Can you believe it's nearly over?
Yes. I can believe it's nearly over.
Well, we started off this term with Christine Palacios. She was our American Next Generation Preacher Search winner from Pepperdine University. And didn't she come back with the Redlands College Ministry USA team?
She did. Let's use the power of editing and go to that interview now. Okay, Christine, congratulations on being a Next Generation Preacher Search Award winner at Pepperdine and then being selected to come as an ambassador to Australia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
What did that moment mean for you? And have you felt it shaping you in any kind of way? Just the idea that you were part of the Next Generation Preacher Search process, being selected again to be an ambassador internationally. Has that been a big deal for you or?
Yes, it definitely has been a big deal for me. And it has meant a lot because it is something that I have seen God work in my life just, I don't know what's the right way to say this, but it's so evident that God was working in this way, especially with my journey with NGPS and being very uncertain and not feeling comfortable, being very anxious about it, but just trusting in God and wanting to be obedient to God and then seeing God's answer and the reason why I did this in the first place so evidently with me becoming an ambassador was an amazing moment for me.
And you found out about the Next Generation Preacher Search, NGPS, as you call it.
Yes.
You found out about that in your freshman year of university?
Yes, in my freshman year. And
you're just going into your sophomore year. So this is all recent history.
Yes, this is.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. And was preaching and sharing your faith something you always saw yourself doing? Or did something happen? Or did someone speak to you? I would assume we've talked about Jeff Long, a friend of the college and a mentor figure of sorts to you.
Yes, preaching has definitely not been anything I've thought of doing. I've always known I wanted to become a lawyer and so to go into the field of law, and preaching was just never something that ever occurred to me. But then after hearing about NGPS and about public speaking, I thought it would be a great way for me to practice. And then with really coming up with my sermons and researching and writing, it's definitely just broadened my horizons.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful to Pastor Walling.
It was a great interview.
Thanks. The entire interview is at the end of this podcast if people want to listen to that, and you're encouraged to do so. Right now, let's go to the interview that we have with some of the cast of Seussical.
What was your favorite moment of the show during Seussical?
My favorite moment of the show was definitely performing the last number, Green Eggs and Ham, because there was just so much energy on the stage and everyone was so excited and it was truly just the most fun number.
Well, just all of it, I just enjoy being on stage mostly. But if I had to say one moment, probably the bows, when everyone's just clapping for you. And
how did being part of this production stretch or surprise you?
It definitely stretched my vocal range and my vocal stamina. There was a lot of singing.
The thing that surprised me most from being in this production was definitely how close the cast got. I've been in many college productions before, but I've never seen so many friendships form across people from all year levels, and we truly were just one big family at the end.
Is there a character or lyric from the show that has stayed with you, and why?
The lyric, "A person's a person, no matter how small," has definitely stayed with me. It's such a beautiful reminder that everyone matters in this world, no matter how big or how small they might seem. For me, it also connects to my faith, because even though I'm just one tiny person in this big world, I know that God sees me and loves me.
Horton, my character. Yeah, I just put so much effort into bringing Horton to life.
And what did it mean to share this experience with the Redlands community?
Yeah, I've been at Redlands since prep, so it's definitely a community that I feel like I belong in. So yeah, it was really good to showcase all of our hard work to all the Redlands community, and they were all very supportive.
I just hope that the Redlands community who came and watched the show had as much fun in the world of Seussical as the cast and I did.
Another annual event that we look forward to every year is the reunion, Mike. That took place the beginning of August, and it was our 10, 20 and 30 year reunion for the 95, 2005 and 2015 classes.
It was a great day. I enjoyed seeing the former students. I had worked with the students from 2005 and the class of 2015, but just, as Redlands College, such a tight-knit community, even with alumni, a lot of the class of 95, I do have connections with them as well, even though I wasn't here at the time.
I think some of them are actually parents of college now, where their children are here.
Absolutely, that is correct. But those reunions are always, I always enjoy them. I enjoy seeing where people are. It's fun to give the tours on the day.
Yeah, because the school grounds have changed so much.
Well, that's some of the feedback that we get quite a lot of is how much things have changed.
Yeah.
Physically with things, but plus the student body, like number-wise, it's grown too over the years. So it's just it's interesting because it's a time of reflection, but it's also in a time of nostalgia, but also an opportunity to see the present, where things are now. And as you said, many are parents. Yeah. Many are parents, and that's a great thing.
One of my favorite moments of every reunion is always when people walk around the corner and they spot somebody that they haven't seen in many, many years, and just the delight on their faces. And I think that they're even surprised by how they feel. A lot of them sometimes don't want to come to the reunion or are very apprehensive to come. And then we actually have to ask them to please leave at the end because they're having such a good time.
Yeah, and it's very genuine. Those connections are genuine and they're long-standing. It's a great day. And the other thing too, with this year, oftentimes we do have staff, current staff, former staff, depending, if they're still here and they have been here. So we do have staff that come along. This year, Mark Bensley, who was headmaster for the class of 2015, he came up from
Canberra.
Yep. Yes. And he did a little bit of speaking on the day. So that was great too. It is a fun time.
So Mike, over this winter break, we had 2 international trips depart from the college. One went to the USA and the other one went to Vanuatu.
One of the things that Redlands College is committed to is a global experience, global education for students and opportunities, faith formation opportunities, service opportunities. To that end, this last break, the winter break, we had 2 trips running concurrently. The USA ministry trip, which went to Los Angeles to work with Habitat for Humanity, went to work at a children's home in Indiana. And then we also had the year 12s who went on a Vanuatu service trip. They used our campus there to do outreach.
And I believe you managed to interview a couple of students from both of them, and you've got some audio that you're going to share with us.
Well, I definitely have some audio from some of those students that went on both of those experiences.
One of our most memorable stops was Schultz Lewis, a child service school where we worked with 2 girls from Naperville Church of Christ, Nailani and Danielle, where we got to put our faith into practice. We painted bathrooms, fixed up basketball courts, and did maintenance. But what really stuck was how serving together can really rewarding, but also so much fun. We also joined the school's morning devotions, singing, praying, and simply being present with the students reminded us that ministry doesn't always mean preaching. Sometimes it's just about showing up and being together. And yes, there was chaos too. Skyball in the hall got intense, think Olympic level, but more competitive. Though in all the madness, we were building friendships that will last forever.
I guess one thing that just like kept popping up was like the value of things and kind of how the New Van people, I like their perspective on what's valuable more, how like people to them is the most valuable thing. So like they have like a section, like a space in their gardens for just for gifts for people. Whereas like in our culture, it's more like the perspective is like the stuff is valuable. But like you can see it in like how happy people are that like actually, you know, people are the most like are more valuable than stuff. So taking that away from that.
Seeing how little the kids have in the schools and still how happy they are to be there and learn every day.
During our ministry trip, we had flown down to Omaha, Nebraska and took a road trip up to York University. York University had given us a beautiful opportunity to grow into awesome leaders and learn more about our faith and the pathways our future holds for us. The program was called the Presidential Leadership Institute, a program meant for kids that want to become trustworthy leaders. Along the learning side of the program, it was also an awesome opportunity to create new relationships and learn how to work with people you may have never worked with before. Everyone's generosity and consideration gave us the opportunity to grow into fruitful individuals. After spending 2 nights at York University, we didn't exactly want to leave. The Institute held a lot of growth, passion, and education, giving us years' worth of memories. We are grateful to have learned from Dr. Ice and Dr. Meller, as their wise words gave us an idea of who we want to become and who we want to lead in the future. Each night, York University held beautiful nightly devotions. Each time, we sang and praised the Lord together. We prayed and felt each other's strength just like God had created us to do so. York University has given us that opening to reach out to God and grow our faith journey, and for that, we are utmost grateful. This experience was one of a lifetime, and the memories had made a forever impact on who we are and who we want to become in the future.
So, Mike, one of my favorite times of the year is when the year 11s and the year 12s, they play in the Matt Stanley Rugby game. That is always a really hotly contested match. This year, I think the year 11s were trying to do what last year's year 11s did and beat the year 12s.
An upset.
Big upset. So, but the year 12s were not going to let that happen. They wanted to have 2 years of reigning wins. I don't think, has that ever happened before?
I don't think so. I don't think it has.
Well, it was very exciting. It was a tight game. I think in the end, the year 12s won by 2 points. So it was very cool. And what I loved so much was how many students and parents and alumni were on the side of the field cheering everybody on. And the field looked amazing. The facilities guys did such a good job. Our field looked professional.
It was an amazing day. I do have a bit of audio just so you can sort of get a bit of what it sounded like and felt like. But it is a great event for a great cause.
Yeah.
That honors a memory of somebody that we lost. The show notes will have some of that context for you. But as you said, it was a great event, and congratulations to the year 12s for another win.
Another win.
For their cohort.
Well done.
It's your favorite part, yes.
Well, I only like it when I get to ask you questions, Mike.
For what's the name of our segment?
Curious Mind.
Okay.
So, Mike, you know, I went on holiday in the middle of this year, well, just a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And we went sailing in the Greek islands.
True.
Okay. So we sailed a group of islands, which is called the Sporades Islands. And in this group of islands, there's an island that is called the Island of 360 Churches. Do you know the name of this island? And do you know why there are 360 churches on it? Called Skopolos.
How would I know that?
Well, exactly. This is why it's such a great segment. And the reason is for centuries, families would build small chapels on the island to honor a saint or to give thanks for surviving a storm at sea or to mark a special family event. Some say that it actually got to a point where families wanted to all have their own little church to almost like a bit of a competition. But it's amazing, like some of these little whitewashed little chapels and things on olive groves, up on a hill, on a small beach.
Still, congratulations on
winning the first one.
Yes,
I knew that would be a little bit hard, but I thought that you might know that. But no, that's a good fact for you. 360 churches on Skopolos Island.
Got it.
Then
what's their attendance?
Oh, it's their family per chapel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next question.
So they just go to church with their own family?
Yes. I'm sure that they do belong to a big Greek Orthodox church that they go to on the weekend. Okay, next one. Do you know of the famous movie that was filmed in the Sporades Island, and do you know which island?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think I'm wrong. Okay, but I think I may know.
Okay.
But I don't want any laughter from you or the audience at home.
Okay.
Or in the car.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was Robin Williams in it?
No.
Are you sure
Yeah.
it wasn't Popeye?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't.
More recent movie.
Oh,
Lots of singing.
I got it. Mamma Mia.
Yes. Also on Scorpios Island. Okay, and last question about Greece, which I actually learned this time. Do you know why there are so many islands? Well, do you know why Greece is famous for the blue and white building?
Blue for the ocean. Am I close?
So
white for the sky. White for the sky.
No, but you are close. The reason being is those are the reasons for the blue and white on the Greek flag. So the blue on the Greek flag is for blue for the sky and the ocean, and then white is actually for the white caps of the ocean. Centuries ago, under the Ottoman rule, the Greeks were not allowed to openly fly the Greek flag. So what did they do? Clever.
Is that true?
It is true. It is true.
Okay.
Yes. And then so later on, it says here, later in the 1960s and 70s, the Greek government even formalized a blue and white painting in the islands of Santorini and Mykonos, which now makes it a national symbol and a tourist identity. Yeah. So thank you.
Well, just for to satiate your curiosity, Popeye was filmed in Malta. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Close, but
not
no.
the island of 1,000 churches, as you said.
360.
Well, you said they were getting more and more. So, yeah. We usually focus on alumni, in our podcast. This particular episode, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't pause for a moment and mention the passing, not just alumni, but a colleague.
Yes, our dear friend, James Newton. He passed away 2 weeks ago now.
I believe that would be correct.
Yes. And he worked in the cafe. The smiliest face, knew your order before you even placed the order, took great pride in getting it right. He was very much a part of even the student body. He used to take students on Duke of Ed. He was a touch rugby coach, very involved in the Redlands touch football club. So yes, big loss to the community.
Yes, it really, really stings, to lose somebody. Death is never really welcomed.
No.
Even though it's, we all know that we're mortal people, but to lose someone so young is very, very difficult. I don't know if you saw the Courier Mail article, not the one about the accident, but the one about his faith. Really, it was a fantastic. I'll make sure there's a link to it in the show notes, but really talked about the things that you've mentioned, but it also talked about his involvement as a mentor and also working with Scripture Union kids.
Yes. I believe he used to take kids on youth camps all the time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And, he was one of a kind. And so it's a big loss. He was a young man of faith, and it wasn't something that he just held to like on a Sunday. This was, day in and day out. And it was, we're grateful for the time that we had with him, but we wish we had more.
Yeah.
And so we do want to honor his life and his legacy. I think, if I recall, and again, in the show notes, the family asked for donations to be made to Scripture Union.
Yes.
So the legacy of that faith building, that mentoring could continue through that.
Yes.
And just want to make sure that gets out there. I know, can't remember the actual passage, but there's a psalm that says that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And I think, I believe, I know that that's what a lot of us are holding on to now, is the fact that James, a great guy, but also a Christian who believed with all of his heart. So
he was a light for sure.
Absolutely. We are grateful for the time that we've had together this afternoon, and certainly grateful for the time that we have with James. As a student here, prepped to 12, and then also somebody that worked here up until December of last year. So a long time with the college, but he will be missed. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode, and thank you for clicking through to the show notes to get more information about the things that we talked about, including James's legacy through Scripture Union campus.
Yeah, and we'll see you all at the end of term 4 again for another episode.
Right, yes, another episode.
Be the difference.
Grateful to Pastor Walling.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I talked to him yesterday on the phone. He's a great guy. I've known him for quite a while. He's been here. Actually, earlier this year, he was here. So, for those of our audience who don't know, and to remind you, even though I know you do know, Pepperdine, which is in Malibu, California, just north of Los Angeles, or I guess part of Los Angeles Metro to a certain degree. Anyway, Malibu, California, that's where Pepperdine University is. It's a long way from here, thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean. But both of our schools share this Church of Christ heritage, this Stone Campbell Restoration history heritage. Has that tradition played a part in your life or your understanding of it? I know that you were talking about your church in Fresno, which would be part of of that tradition, if I recall correctly. So, any thoughts about how that's impacted your leadership or your speaking or your writing, any of those things?
Well, I mean, obviously it has impacted my leadership with having things like NGPS, opportunities for students to be involved in their faith and really just take it a step further and be able to preach the gospel. So for that, I'm definitely very grateful. But I think also, in particular, Pepperdine, with being a philosophy major and having a Church of Christ heritage, Pepperdine has been so great in having its students wrestle with their faith, but also learning to trust God and that we don't know all the answers. And so I'm very grateful to both Pepperdine and also to the Church of Christ heritage as well, for the opportunities like NGPS and for the way they've taught us to
how to think, or well, I mean, but how to
exactly
curate your thinking process or cultivate that thinking process. No, I agree, and that resonates with me as well. Now, you've been at Redlands now going on 8 days. Tomorrow will be 9 days, and then when you fly out Wednesday, you'll have been spent 10 days with us, so about a week and a half. And maybe you're still finding your bearings, but I would think you've maybe noticed some things about our culture here. So, what have you noticed about our students? What stands out to you about the way they learn or lead or connect? Any of those things, all of those things?
With your students and also with just Redlands as a whole, I've definitely noticed how it seems like all one big family. Everyone here has been so welcoming to me, so kind, so sweet, and the students just all seem very close-knit. And that also extends to the staff as well. And so that's just been such a great environment to be in, and I'm very grateful.
Oh, that's very kind words. Thank you. And you've been doing a lot of speaking. That's one of the reasons you came over here was to, again, is that with that ambassadorship framework, but you've also done some listening. You flew back with the USA ministry team. So you've had conversations with some of our students. You've had lunch with some of our students, as you've been on the campus here for several days now. Has there been a conversation or a moment that reminded you of your journey in some way, maybe an echo or paying it forward, any of those things, anything that sort of stands out to you in your interactions in that space?
I think when I attended the Bible study during lunch, just listening to the students lead the Bible study and to their discussion was such a joy and also gave me so much hope, because it was just so nice to see how eager they all were to dive into God's word and to really discuss it with one another. And obviously a big part of that is because of Redlands and how they're not afraid, to ask big questions. But another part of it is just how eager they are is really something amazing to see, because ultimately that's all God wants from us, that we're eager and willing to do our best for him. And I can definitely see that shining through the students here.
Not to piggyback on your commentary too much, but what I always often say to young people and any people is that God doesn't ask for ability, he asks for availability, which is what you're, so copyright Mike Shepard 2025. So if you use that, you'll need to give me credit, but no, I'm sure I read that somewhere. One of the things about being a young leader like yourself, a young presenter like yourself, is oftentimes people see potential in you first, and they help sort of tease it out of you. So any kind of interesting points along the way where somebody sort of said, oh, there's something that you ought to consider, or have you thought about this, something that sparked something in you?
I think there definitely has been many points and many people in my life. Most recently, Pastor Walling with helping me and really being a mentor for me with NGPS throughout my life, my family, for just encouraging me to continue to say yes to all the opportunities that God has provided me with. Definitely, there have been many mentors, and my family included. I'm very grateful to that have got me here today.
Great. What role has faith played in helping you grow and stretch, develop, not just as a speaker or presenter, but as a person that's finding their place in the world, which is, as we've talked, around this podcast and just in conversation, you've got a lot going on. So what part has faith played in this age and stage of your life?
It's definitely played a huge part. It's, I think right now with this new opportunity and with preaching, which is all still very new to me, the reason why I'm able to do so is really just because of the faith that I have in Jesus, and knowing that I'm being obedient to him with the opportunities and the blessings and the gifts that he's given me. And that honestly carries on in all my life, just with studying as well at Pepperdine, just knowing that no matter what happens, having my faith there, and knowing that if I'm being obedient, spending time in his word and doing what I was created to do, that no matter what happens and no matter what opportunities come my way, that I know that I'm on the right track, no matter what that track may look like.
That's good. That's strong. Looking around the place here, because you've got a couple more days, looking around Redlands College, if you could leave one message with our students about discovering their God-given potential, leaning into that kind of thing, what would you give advice? What would you say to them?
I think I would say to start saying yes. I think it's so easy to say no to things that we feel uncomfortable with, things that we don't want to do, things that may be hard, inconvenient, may seem unnecessary, but I think saying yes is a big thing, because God has placed abilities in each kid, gifts, passions in each kid, and opportunities. I believe that sometimes we have to look for them, but sometimes they'll be right there. And I think if we start saying yes to them, it's amazing what God will do with our yes. So I would say to start being comfortable with stepping outside of our comfort zone, to just give God our best. And I think a lot of that happens when we're outside of our comfort, because then we're leaning on his comfort.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
One of my mentors years ago told me something that, and it's going to sound so basic, but it's always stayed with me, is it's always easier to say no, because you don't really have to think about it.
Exactly.
Somebody asks you to do something. No, it's always easy to say no. But saying yes requires thought processes, and faith.
Yeah.
Those types of things. Okay. And finally, when you head back to Pepperdine in 48 hours-ish, what will you carry with you from your time here? And will that shape your journey moving forward? Hopefully it will. I'm not fishing for anything per se, but.
Definitely. On a personal note, I definitely will carry a lot of hope and gratitude with me. Hope, because I never would have thought that I'd have this opportunity, and that that I would become an ambassador, that I'd be chosen to come and preach here. It's something that I would have never dreamed of. So just hope in the future, in everything that may come for me, and also gratitude as well to Redlands for just the really lovely, welcoming community that is here. And I just hope to also be as loving and welcoming to visitors who come to Pepperdine as you guys have been to me here. So definitely.
Oh, thank you. Christine, thank you for sharing. It's been encouraging to hear how God has used others to call out your potential, how you've seen that same kind of similar spark here at Redlands. And we're grateful for your time with us and excited to see what's ahead for you. So stay in touch. Don't be a stranger.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.